Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Atrocious. You can also call me Jake, and today we've got round 4 of the Japan National Championships of EB01. This is the 4th round of Swiss in this one. For anyone who doesn't know, in this tournament they have, I think it's like top 29 players or something like that, 29 players invited. They do some Swiss rounds and then they go into a top 8 cut. So still working through that. The Yamato player and the Sakazuki keeping these hands, the matchup that we've seen before on the channel, but now with EB01 updates. One thing before we get into this game is that this is not my official content here. I am watching the actual live stream. If you do want to watch the official live stream and not hear my silly commentary, you can go check out the link in the description below as always. But for now, let's look at Sakazuki. Looking at their hand, not looking too bad. Have 2 searchers in the TCG and Branu. Have a Hina and Rebecca. Hina probably going to be used off that leader effect. And then a T-Bone as well, one of the new EB01 cards. We've seen a lot of T-Bone in these lists. And then looking at the Yamato. Yamato has an Izzo, 2 Howdy Jones, and then 2 starter deck 13 Rush Aces. So pretty decent hand for both players, I feel like, at this point. Yamato doesn't necessarily need low-end stuff in terms of the cost because of the double attack and also several other things with the leader. Usually the first couple turns you're just attaching all Dawn to leader and then swinging for the double attack. So we may though see later, we may see the Izzo rest Rebecca, especially if there's only one blocker on field, because the Izzo does get to rest a Rebecca or Borsellino. So looks like the Yamato player is going first. Just going to be a draw and pass going into Sakazuki's turn. They've now got 2 Branus in hand, so pitching that Hina off of the leader effect, drawing a Great Eruption. Great Eruption is going to be pretty good to get rid of those pesky Howdy Jones and such. So using the 2 Dawn to hit the Branu, going to look at Ice Age, Hina, and Helmeppo. This is an interesting call, I feel like. I think you take maybe Ice Age potentially in here, but they're going to opt for the Helmeppo. So I would have been interested in Ice Age just because you know stuff like Howdy Jones is going to come down, but could be perceived a little differently. After top decking the Shura, they will swing the 8 and the double attack. It will hit. It's going to get a Branu and also a Rob Lucci. So getting a couple cards there and some cards that provide some value, especially that Rob Lucci. Going to top deck another starter deck Hina and only 4 Dawn to work with. So wouldn't surprise me if this next turn, you know, they play down this Rebecca and then the Yamato player plays down the Izzo and then attaches 2 Dawn and swings again. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So after swinging that 5, going to hit a life and use leader effect to get another Rebecca. So 2 Rebeccas. You're loving all of the Rebeccas that are coming down on the field. You're going to play that Rebecca. Probably, yeah, just grabbing that starter deck Hina because you already got 3 of them in the bin, and then just playing that one because it's kind of the best option, and then passing the turn, just building up your board, getting a little bit of pressure going in this game. And the Yamato player draws an Ohm. So now is an interesting choice. I think before you were going to play the Izzo, but do you just play the Ohm now at this point? Because the Ohm will allow you to potentially get a Holly and put 2 characters down on the field. Or is the Sakazuki board state built enough with the like Rebeccas and, you know, having tons of options to draw? Could those just be taken out by a Rob Lucci because they would be a 4-3 combo if you did find a Holly? This is a very interesting choice. I don't know which one I would really lean towards. Maybe the Izzo potentially. So they're going to start off swinging 6, and I bet leaving this 4 Dawn open, they're probably just going to go for the Ohm play. So the Sakazuki player going to potentially think about getting rid of this T-Bone. They are T-Bone, the new 2K counter in the deck, and going to be playing that looks like they did find a Holly there alongside a couple other Sky Island cards. So they will put those two characters down and pass the turn, and we'll see if Sakazuki can get those two out. They do have a great Eruption in hand and a Leader Swing. So all they need is one more minus Dawn effect to be able, or minus cost effect, I'm sorry, to be able to get this combo out. And so thinking about what they want to do, they do have the Helmeppo, right, because they're at 6 Dawn, so they could actually get there with the Helmeppo and Great Eruption combo. So going to start off by swinging 5 first at the Yamato to see if they can get either a counter card or a life, and not a lot of counter in their hand, to be honest. So they're going to take this life. A second, you're the one that should disappear. And so now swinging the 5 again and minusing that Holly by 1. It looks like they're thinking about comboing out of the Shura here. And so they're going to pitch that Shura, not letting another life get taken. I think they maybe know what's coming at them at this point. And so thinking about how they want to do this. If you play the Helmeppo and the Great Eruption, though, actually you don't have enough Dawn to do the Rob Lucci play. So going to start off with a brand new. Going to see what they get. An 8-drop Moria. So think maybe one of the avenues that you could go at this point. What are some of the avenues that you could go? You rest 2 right here. You go into the Helmeppo, you minus the Ohm by 2, and so then you play Rob Lucci, and you're just going to get 1, right? I think if my math is correct, you're just going to only get 1. So putting back the Hina, the Ice Age, and thinking about the third card that they want to put back. I think brand new is a good option to put back. Not a lot of discarding stuff going on with Sakazuki right now. Definitely not as aggressive with the discard as something like the Gecko Moria leader. So going to be putting those back and taking out the Holly. Oh, and the Omen Holly. Wait, so where did the cost come from? So Sakazuki. Oh, I'm sorry. Helmeppo is -3. Holy smokes. I'm sorry for everybody watching. I have not played the Navy deck is the only starter deck that I don't have yet, so I don't have any Helmeppos. So I always forget he's a 2/3 in terms of cost and then minusing cost. So that makes way more sense. Okay, there was an avenue. I was correct kind of the first time that I talked about it a little bit. So anyways, moving on into the Yamato's turn. Now that the board is cleared, you're at the 7 Dawn turn. You could play that Howdy Jones as they're showcasing, but going to play the Izzo. There's only 1 blocker, and it wouldn't surprise me if all 4 of this Dawn, goes to the Yamato, swings 9 at the leader. And so with a 9, I don't think they're going to be able to counter out of this with only 8k counter in hand. So with no blockers, they're going to have to take those 2 swings. Going to be an 8-cost Moria and also a Rebecca. They've got a couple blockers, and so especially if you play down another Rebecca this turn, you could like maybe swing with the brand new get yourself into a Houndblaze range, swing with the brand new, play a Rebecca over Helmeppo, and then over the brand new that you swung with, play the Hina. So that would be able to just kind of beef up your board a little bit because you do have a full board right here. So starting off with the leader effect, pitching the 8 cost, one of the 2 in hand, and you're going to get an Amino Murakuma. So this is a really interesting spot, and why I would, again, prioritize a lot of the blockers. So you don't have very much in hand in terms of stuff that you can use for counter on another big attack if they have another Izzo in hand. And so after that is countered with the Onami and you have 0 life left, you really got to think about what you want to put down. If you do have a second blocker, it's going to be way harder for the Yamato to be able to go for game. So going to grab another Izzo off of that life after that Rob Lucci swing. That's a huge card to get at this point. You're really hoping as well for a Sabo, or at least you were looking for one overall, but not going to see it. And so now with this 5 swing right here, there's a couple different options still on swing, so not the easiest for the Yamato player, but they're going to take it and get a sugar. So the sugar is an interesting card that is going to be very helpful in resting the Rebekahs as well. And so thinking about where they want to go, the sugar is actually kind of like a tech for the Sabo, so very interesting. So going to, after that, -1 on the leader swing, going to be doing double Helm Blaze to boost up the Helmeppo by a ton, and then go ahead, so boosted up 6 on a, I think, 3k body plus 4, so that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And so tossing away the 2, you should be the ones to disappear. There's 6k counter overall, 7, 8, 9, 10 going up to 15. And so the upside on that is you basically emptied their hand and also the rest cards that they have. So the thing about it though is they do have Howdy Jones. Howdy Jones, a really, really good card, resting characters and Dawn and being a rusher. So you can start off swinging with the Yamato here and then using leader effect to boost 2 rested Dawn of the Howdy Jones and then attach the 2. So then it would be 12 overall in this one. So it looks like the Yamato is going to take this game. I don't think they can get out of a 12,000 power swing, and it looks like they will not be able to. So Yamato will go 4-0 now in the tournament. I think this is the shortest game that we've had so far. We've had some short games with some of these green decks, but a super strong performance by Yamato. Really, really good job playing out the hand and using the double attack on the leader and recognizing, especially with the lack of blockers, what you could actually rest. I almost forgot that the Howdy Jones rests either characters or Dawn when it's on play. So that was just a very, very good insight and very, very excellent play by the Yamato. Very, very strong. Sakazuki, we've seen now go down a couple times in this. If you haven't checked out the other videos of the tournament, I recommend going to the playlist that I have. And yeah, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you check out the other videos in the future. We will get more going on the channel throughout the day or two, and we'll get the whole thing to you as always with these tournaments. So thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, bye.